Krishna Vanita Gandharvika Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, and all glories to all the assembled devotees. And Dandavat pranams to you for your services. This is Kiran Goyal from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna, Kiran Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your recitation. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Vrinda Gopika Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your recitation. Welcome to the call. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Please go ahead. Hare Krishna, Priyam Vada Radha Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your recitation. Welcome to the call. Your volume looks like little low, Mataji, from my computer. I don't know if it was low for everyone.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev and Gauranga. This is Akshar Das from New Jersey.
Hare Krishna, Akshar Das Prabhuji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining and giving your recitation. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna, Vanita Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Guru and Garanga Ki Jai. This is Shivani from Ashram, Virginia. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your recitation. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams, glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj and all the assembled Vaishnavas. This is Caitanya Sundaridas.
Hare Krishna, Kitida Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your recitation on all glories to your wonderful services. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Please go ahead. If nobody wants to introduce, I'll chant for some time. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Komadi Ki Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your recitation. Welcome to the call. Mataji, you have to unmute. Unmute, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Very happy to see you. The other day you joined and I asked you to leave because of the interview was going on in the call. Hare Krishna.
That's okay.
Thank you for joining today, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Because I got up early and I got to take a shower early. Because otherwise I'm just in a night test and then it doesn't look good.
Haribol.
Okay, so I don't join.
Nice to see you, Mataji, today.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Nice to see you too. And happy birthday. I think I forgot to tell you.
It was Preeti Vilasni Mataji's birthday recently.
Oh, then I will just write it. So,
thank you, Kamadiki Mataji.
Oh, Hare Krishna, thank you. Happy birthday, Preeti Vilasni Mataji.
Thank you for your blessings, Mataji.
Okay, Hare Krishna. We'd like to hear you more and more.
Yes, Mataji, I will speak more soon.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram. Yeah, Prabhuji joined. I'll start the recording. Hare Krishna everyone, welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Ramgiridhari Prabhuji to enlighten us on the topic of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya khanda, chapter number 13, 151 to 160 verse. Before I hand over the call to Prabhuji, I would like to read Srila Prabhupada's quote for today. Children worship is more important than deity worship. If you cannot spend time with your child, then stop the duty of pujari. These children are given to us by Krishna. They are Vaishnavas, and we must be very careful to protect them. These are not ordinary children. They are Vaikuntha children, and we are very fortunate. We can give them a chance to advance further in Krishna consciousness. That is a very great responsibility, to not neglect it or be confused. July 30, 1972. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for joining and giving your association. We are very fortunate to have you on the call. I now hand over the call to you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. I am not sure who is fortunate, but for sure I am fortunate, because I keep trying to cancel the class, but Krishna somehow made necessary arrangements that I'm supposed to be engaged in the service, I called Priti Vilasini Mataji and said that maybe I will not be able to log in. I'm right now in a place called Bareilly, in a very remote, not remote, but it's some, interior part of Uttar Pradesh. Came here for some work, and I wasn't sure if I was going to have a right connection, but finally everything Krishna managed. So once again, thank you, Krishna, and thank you all the devotees to have engaged me in the service.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Om Namo.
With your busy schedule, you came. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. I want to thank Krishna 20 times because I was so hungry. The local ISKCON temple just now 2 minutes before bought Mahaprashadam. So everything has worked out very well. I guess Krishna has a special kindness towards his dear servants. Thank you.
Did you
Very
eat,
nice,
Prabhu?
Prabhu. And Prabhu, Bareilly is not that remote, please.
I'm sorry. I in case if any one of you are from Bareilly, maaf karna baba. Okay, this is the first time I'm coming here. So I was in a remote village called Baheri, which is 45 kilometers away from Bareilly. So when I messaged Preeti Vilasini Mataji, I was in Baheri in one, gaon where we are, one of my customers is setting up a biogas plant. So I wasn't sure if I was going to leave there. Wahan signal mushkil se aa raha tha. So then somehow Krishna managed all the arrangement that I'm sitting with you all now.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So sorry that
Prabhuji, did you
Bareilly ko
eat?
maine apman kiya tha, maaf kar lena.
Don't say that. I'm not from Bareilly.
Okay. Anyway, whatever. There's a wonderful temple here that I'm going to go tomorrow. So let's see. Okay, let's get back to business. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. So we are reading from Chaitanya Bhagvata, Madhya Khanda, chapter 13, text number 151 through 160. The topic, the deliverance of Jagai and Madai. Nityananda Kariba Sakale Mato Yalam Puhana Charitra Muni Jani Bhale Balam. Nityananda will make everyone intoxicated. I know his character very well. Ei deka tumi dina dui tina vyaje sei dui madhyapa ani bagoshti maje. Just wait and see. Within 2 or 3 days, he will bring those drunkards into our assembly. Balite Advaita hai lena krodha vesham digambara hai bale asesha vishesham. While speaking in this way, Advaita became overwhelmed with anger. Without any clothing on, he spoke with great emphasis. Suniba Shakala Chaitanyera Krishna Bhakti Kemane Nache Gaye Dekon Tana Shakti. Everyone will hear about Lord Chaitanya's devotional service to Krishna, and they will see his potency and how he dances and chants. Deka Kali Sei Dui Madhyapa Aniyam Nimai Nitai Dui Nachi Bemiliyam. You will see tomorrow how Nimai and Nitai will bring the 2 drunkards and dance with them. Ekakara kari bheka ei dui jhane jati lai tumi ami palai yatane. They will make the 2 equal to us, and we will have to run away to save our caste. Text 157. Advaitera krodha veshe hase haridasa madhyapa uddara chitte haila prakasha. On seeing Advaita's angry mood, Haridasa smiled. He was convinced that the drunkards would be delivered. Advaitera vakya bhuje kahara shakati mujhe Haridasa prabhu yara enamati. Who has the power to understand Advaita's words? Only Haridas Prabhu can understand him. Text 159. Ebe papi shaba advaitera paksha hayam gadadara nindakare mara e padiyam. Many sinful people take the side of Advaita and criticize Gadadhara. They will be burnt to death. Text 160. Epa pishta eka vaishnavera paksham haya anya vaishnavere nindesye yayakshayam. Any sinful person who takes the side of one Vaishnava and blasphemes another Vaishnava is certainly ruined. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakayam Chakshurun Militam Yenam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaham Nama Om Vishnu Padayam Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is very wonderful to see the words of Advaita Charya describing about Nityananda Prabhu and his mood. Advaita Charya and Nityananda Prabhu are God brothers. So they have this wonderful, loving, brotherly exchanges. This is not the first time Advaita Charya is trying to make fun of Nityananda Prabhu. But in the fun, while he is expressing in some sort of a funny way, or even in, say, apparently quote unquote angry way, he has glorified Nimai and Nitai. These brotherly exchanges, funny exchanges between these Vaishnavas are very obvious and natural. And the glorification that Advaita Charya is giving about Nityananda Prabhu not only tells about the glories of Nityananda Prabhu, it also establishes the superlative nature of this process of Krishna consciousness. That a person, mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim, yat kripata maham mande Shri Gurum dinatarinam. By the mercy of the spiritual master, by the mercy of a Vaishnava, pangum langayate girim, a lame man can even climb a mountain. And it is explained that is not even a single percent of exaggeration in this. Yesterday I was giving a Bhagavatam class from 7th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, describing about Prahlad Maharaj's teachings to his classmates. This is a similar, situation where Nityananda Prabhu is going to preach to Jagai and Madhya. So the context is Haridas Thakur is completely perplexed on what Nityananda Prabhu is up to. Haridas Thakur looking at the acts of Jagai and Madhya and hearing about their notorious, activities, he didn't want to venture out. But our dearest Nityananda want to venture out and go after them, saying that this is the candidate to whom I will preach, and transform them to Vaishnavas, and that way there is going to be headlines everywhere. When Prabhupada was preaching in US, ISKCON had both sides of publicity. There were some publicity about ISKCON, how they are trying to help the modern day youths who were completely confused. And there were also headlines that this cult is brainwashing younger generation. But Srila Prabhupada saw both the situation as an opportunity for people to come to know about ISKCON. A self-realized soul, his vision, his language, his conduct, his preaching, his strategy is something that from a normal intelligence perspective is non-comprehensible. When Prahlad Maharaj wanted to preach his classmates, at that time already Prahlad Maharaj was under scanner. His father was so upset because Prahlad Maharaj wouldn't budge to glorify Hiranyakashipu as God. He has been put in a Gurukul with a very strict instruction to the teachers, change this boy, convince this boy. And Prahlad Maharaj not only preached to the teachers, he started preaching to those boys, the fellow classmates, who are all children of demoniac parents. So my first reflection is to establish a very important point of Vaishnavas, self-realized soul, and their mood and mindset. Because they are absolutely convinced, because of their complete surrender to this process of Krishna consciousness, there is simultaneous confidence and fearlessness. So, a self-realized soul, when he sees a situation which is apparently chaotic, risky, and not very favorable for Krishna consciousness, he immediately feels compassion in his heart that if I don't help, if we don't help, who else are going to help? If we let them suffer for how many aeons, how many generations these people have to suffer? Whilst normal people will say, oh my God, stay away from them. And some devotees will say, Asat Sangat Tyaga, which is true. So that is why we are supposed to follow the instructions of self-realized souls, and we need not, should not, cannot imitate them. So whilst we are going to glorify Nityananda Prabhu and his preaching strategy, will this strategy be accepted universally for everyone to follow? The answer is no. But by hearing these wonderful pastimes Nityananda Prabhu did, we should follow Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet. We should surrender to Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet. We should glorify Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet. And we should also associate with associates of and followers of Nityananda Prabhu. So a person who is extending himself like this to fallen miscreants, rascals, people who are lower than Chandala, almost in the stage of animalistic consciousness, this Jagai and Madai stooped too low in their character in spite of them being born in a Brahmana family. Now got a wonderful, costless mercy opportunity, Ajnana Sukriti, as a Leela. But for sure we know the Jagai and Madai are none other than our friends Jaya and Vijaya, who according to their committed quota of sufferings, they finished 3 iterations as Ravana, Dandavakra, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, and Kamsa and Shishupala. But then, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was taking, incarnation, he assembled an entire team. And in this pastimes, he wanted some opponents also to be part of them. So from that perspective, Jagai and Madhya are representing, they are none other than Jaya and Vijaya. But then, let's go by the Leela's context. Let us, address the character and how Nityananda Prabhu delivered. Which means, when we understand the pastime, the character of Jagai and Madai within us can also be, handled well. So the characteristics of a self-realized soul is, he is compassionate, he is competent, and his personal character is so spotless that he goes ahead and presents Krishna consciousness to those souls who are rejected by the society at large, and even some, Brahmanas and, some religious people have also given up their hope. But personality like Nityananda Prabhu, personality like Narada Muni, personality like Srila Prabhupada, personality like Lord Shiva, personality like Prahlad Maharaj, these are all great souls who go after them and say, if I not help them, how will they get cured of their disease? So along with this 3C, there is an associated component of fearlessness, because they know for sure what they are doing is absolutely bona fide, and what they are doing is absolutely for the welfare of them. Come what may, for the individual who is doing it, they are going ahead and giving Krishna to somebody. So when we are part of these wonderful personalities, when we are associating with such wonderful devotees, we have a hope in our own Krishna consciousness also. Because we do have Jagai and Madai within ourselves. We do have this animalistic propensity within ourselves. We do have our materialistic conditioning within ourselves. So from that perspective, all glories to Nityananda Prabhu, whose mercy is our hope for our devotional life. So as a first reflection, I want to acknowledge the fact that a person who is interested in delivering fallen souls in the footsteps of our great Vaishnavacharyas and all the way up to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu should understand that they need to carry compassion in their heart, cultivate compassion, so starting from self-compassion to eventually being compassionate towards fallen souls. But that compassion is alone not enough. They need to have some sort of a competence. Here, competence refers to philosophical understanding. Competence refers to the ability in handling the repercussion, in a sense, either ready to face the repercussion, whatever it may. When Ramanujacharya went on the rooftop of Tirukoshtiyur temple to call out everyone from the village, saying that my Gurudev gave me blessings, I want to pass it on, he was absolutely clear that by me doing so, I am going to upset my Guru. By me doing so, I may face his wrath, and I may have to eventually go to hell. But what was the trade-off? One person going to hell, hundreds of people going to, Vaikuntha Loka. So he plunged into it. So anyone, that is why we say a preacher is a soldier, is a captain, is a brigadier, is a, commander-in-chief for delivering fallen souls to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Srila Prabhupada did that. Not to speak of Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada's servants did that. Yesterday we were discussing how Srila Prabhupada, when he was going to Russia for the first time, Srila Prabhupada was given a specific warning by whoever has invited and arranged that please don't bring any religious Vedic texts with you. Shyam Sundar Prabhu was accompanying Srila Prabhupada to Russia for the first visit. And Shyam Sundar Prabhu that time told Mother Malati, who was packing Prabhupada's bags, that please make sure that there are no such, stuffs which will bring in suspicion and Prabhupada's visit gets disturbed. But Mother Malati with all conviction to Srila Prabhupada's, preaching initiative. So whatever I remember, if I'm, remembering correctly, she kept some, she kept the Bhagavad Gita inside the Prabhupada's bag, even after she being told not to keep. But if I remember, she kept Bhagavad Gita in, in different pieces or different parts. She kind of tore apart and kept them in different parts, something like that. But eventually, one copy of Bhagavad Gita was sent along, and Prabhupada's bag was frisked, and they asked Srila Prabhupada in Moscow airport, what is this? And Prabhupada has to, give some clarification, and they finally escaped. But the story continues after that. That copy which Srila Prabhupada could sneak it into the country, that only copy, Srila Prabhupada gave it to one devotee there, whom he had an interaction, one person. And that first copy of Bhagavad Gita, that bold step of a Vaishnava, that preaching initiative that started happened in, Moscow. And after that, the Sankirtan mission started to grow after, going through several hurdles. So many Vaishnavas took so much of risks. Now you see in the entire United, USSR or whatever used to be called as, USSR, which is now Russia, have a lot of devotees. So the point is that fearlessness is not some bogus fearlessness or not some sort of some baseless fearlessness. It is absolutely, they are very well sure that I am ready to face the cause of the competency. The third aspect is, along with these two, one need to have personal character wherein he is practicing Krishna consciousness seriously. So this competency and the compassion combined with good character makes it a formidable combination for someone to deliver fallen souls. And this is what Srimad Bhagavatam explains, that a student of Srimad Bhagavatam or anyone who is studying Srimad Bhagavatam, who is surrendered to Srimad Bhagavatam, they are naturally blessed with this. It is said, simply by giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, the feeling for loving devotional service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. Yasyam vai shruyamanayam Krishne parama purushe bhaktir utpadyate pumsa shoka moha bhaya paha. So the point is that at once, when somebody associate with the loving devotional service of the Lord by hearing, Srimad Bhagavatam, or by associating with Srimad Bhagavata, their lamentation, shoka, moha, vayapaha. So what Advaita Acharya is kind of quote unquote accusing or sarcastically saying, or even trying to pull Nityananda Prabhu's leg in a way, he's saying this guy is not less than any drunkard. This guy is intoxicated with Krishna prema. His heart is filled with love for Krishna, love for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that he is going to transform these two boys tomorrow. There was no probability. It was not just some sort of a possible option. It was sure shot going to happen. That's the kind of language Advaita Acharya is saying. So my first point is that it is our good fortune that we are all practicing Krishna consciousness because of that fearlessness. Because of that fearlessness, because of that 3C quality, our superiors, our seniors, our Vaishnava Acharyas shown that we do have a hope that in this very life we will make progress towards the Supreme Lord. The second reflection that I want to say is about this aspect of what is written in verse number 159 and 116. I will read the commentary of 159 from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Hardly anyone can understand the loving sentiments of Advaita Prabhu. Being unable to understand the actual meaning of Vaishnavism, a few sons and non-devotee so-called disciples of Shri Advaita Prabhu introduce Advaita Prabhu as an impersonalist and support him while disregarding Shri Gaura Sundara's most dear Shri Gadadhara Pandit Goswami. Since Shri Achyutananda Prabhu, the son of Advaita, accepted subordination of Shri Gadadhara Pandit, a few Mayavadi descendants of Advaita dared to disregard Shri Gadadhara Pandit Goswami Prabhu. As a result, they met with inauspiciousness. When unauthorized disciples and sons of Shri Advaita Prabhu saw that after the disappearance of Shri Advaita Prabhu, his most intimate disciples began to worship Hari under the subordination of Shri Gadadhara Pandit Goswami. They began to burn within. Considering their family prestige from the mundane viewpoint and considering Advaita Prabhu as Vishnu and themselves as Vishnu's sons, they attacked those who worshipped under the guidance of Shri Gadadhara Prabhu. So on one side, we discussed about self-realized soul and their mood. And the second reflection is that how do we see and approach a self-realized soul? It is said that if anyone comes too close, too soon to the deity, to a Vaishnava, to the holy Dham, to the spiritual knowledge, and to even the chanting of the holy name of the Lord in a manner that we perform the chanting and Sankirtan as an act of deriving some material pleasure. So when we come too close, too soon to these things, we may not be able to appreciate, we may not have the necessary understanding to glorify. So we immediately, think from a worldly viewpoint. So it is explained by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his essay to the Nectar of Instruction, verse number 3. Sangat Tyagat. So he is explaining 6 qualities which are favorable for devotional service. And the 5th of them was Sangat Tyagat. In that essay to that particular quality, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining this Sangat Tyagat is classified into 2 streams. One is association, second is attachment. And in association, he further divides them into associating with Mayavadis and associating with women or sense gratificatory object. And with attachment, he further divides them into attachment to one's assets and attachment to one's prejudices. So my second reflection is on this perspective, that a person, when he is trying to associate with the self-realized soul, he need to know how to conduct in that assembly. If somebody gets too familiar, if somebody gets too close, too soon, then there is a possibility of them having an adverse effect. And this adverse effect will not only harm their devotional life, here according to Vrindavan Das Thakura, they will be burned to death, in the sense their existence in this material world is going to be only into a negative spiral. So, and why does such discrimination happens? Why do we see them from our materialistic viewpoint? That's what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying. Because of one's attachment to one's prejudices and one's association with the Mayavadi. So this is exactly what Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur is saying. While she is glorifying Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya is glorifying Nityananda Prabhu. Suddenly he is, explaining who else can understand Nityananda Prabhu. Who else can understand even the narration about Nityananda Prabhu by Advaita Acharya? So, if we need to understand and comprehend the science of Krishna consciousness as presented by our Vaishnava Acharyas, for that also we need a Vaishnava. So, Bhaktivedanta purports are our direction. Without Bhaktivedanta purports, we will be completely misdirected, we will be completely lost. But to assimilate Bhaktivedanta purports in our lives, not to misunderstand Bhaktivedanta purports in our life, we need some sadhus in our lives so that we are able to appreciate, apply, and not misunderstand. One proper disciple by name Atmatattva Prabhu, he had once mentioned, Srila Prabhupada's purports are like milk ocean. By churning the milk ocean, we get so many wonderful things. Few of them are nectar, Srimati Lakshmi Devi, Dhanvantri, Sriman Narayana as Mohini Murti. So he said, similarly, when you churn Srila Prabhupada's Bhaktivedanta purports, which Srila Prabhupada encourages, where he is saying, my disciples, my followers will have to write purports to my purports. And he is encouraging. In fact, I read that quote last week. I'm not sure if I read it in this forum or another forum. There is a very wonderful quote by Srila Prabhupada, where Srila Prabhupada is saying, I urge, I encourage all my students to write, to register, to record their realizations. Okay, I got it. This is Srila Prabhupada's lecture in 1972. Quote, every one of you, what is your realization? You write your realization. What you have realized about Krishna, that is required. It is not passive. Always you should be active. Whenever you find time, write. Never mind 2 lines, 4 lines, but you write your realizations. Shravanam, Kirtanam. Writing or offering prayers, glories, this is one of the functions of a Vaishnava. You are hearing, but you have to write also. Then writing means smaranam, remembering what you have heard from your spiritual master from the scripture. The point here is that when Srila Prabhupada is encouraging all of us, he is already anticipating that we write purports to purport, but that is possible only when we approach Srila Prabhupada's Bhaktivedanta purports in the assembly of Vaishnavas with a proper frame of mind. If we are having a prejudice, because I am born in a Brahmin family, I hail from a place where Shastras are very nicely discussed. Lot of devotees, they left Prabhupada. At least in my Krishna conscious years, I know a couple of devotees who came to the level of very nicely getting the blessings of their spiritual masters. They eventually left Srila Prabhupada, left ISKCON in the name of finding more deeper philosophy and went into some sort of a mixed devotion or Sahajya devotees association. And I'm not sure, what is their stand now. So my second reflection is to warn oneself when we are blessed with wonderful association, please handle that association with care. Bhakti is walking on the razor's edge. It means that we are as blessed as we will be when we are receiving, such wonderful association, but we should be very careful to handle such an association with care, with devotion, with absolute sincerity, with absolute humility, and without prejudice. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in that Asat Sangatyaga or Sangatyaga. So he is explaining that against the attachment to someone, somebody being attached to one's asset and one's prejudice, they may be not giving importance to Krishna conscious subject matter, and they will consider Vaishnavas cheaper. If somebody is attached to one's wealth, if somebody is attached to one's prosperity, if somebody is attached to one's, birth in a higher parentage, they may not be able to recognize Vaishnavas who are generally not easily accessible. How the holy dham is generally covered with the layer. Only those who have devotion can see holy dham. Similarly, self-realized souls are also very seldom recognizable by normal materialistic intelligence. So we need to be very careful, especially all of us who are practicing devotees. It is our endeavor not to become too familiar with self-realized souls, which means maintain awe and reverence. Prabhupada taught our Krishna conscious journey like that. He said, you worship Radha and Krishna in the mood of Lakshmi Narayana. You read Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto to 9th canto before understanding Krishna Leela pastimes. He encouraged all of us to systematically elevate our consciousness, not haphazardly. So that is my second reflection, where I want to, register this statement where it says that just because you are appreciating one Vaishnava, blaspheming another Vaishnava can never be accepted, and in fact it is going to be counterproductive. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj writes to as a commentary to the verse number 160, he says, sinful-minded persons who are averse to Hari think that there is a difference of opinion among pure Vaishnavas, and they selfishly take the side of one and blaspheme the other's process of worship. But both Vaishnavas are engaged in the service of the Lord. By imagining differences between them and taking the side of one Vaishnava, one considers him superior. Yet, since the other Vaishnava prays for that Vaishnava's purification and desires his auspiciousness, the observer considers him unfavorable and censures him, thinking that there is a possibility of differences between Vaishnavas. By preaching such a philosophy, one invites one's own ruination. We know from the story of Gopala Chapal what had happened. We know from the story of Sishupala what has happened. We know from the story of so many modern day men who are accusing, so many even disciples of Prabhupada who left ISKCON, and what happened to them. I want to end this second reflection with a very important purport that Srila Prabhupada writes. That many a times we devotees, we may make mistakes and fall down from our position in Krishna consciousness and take up, take up materialistic activity. But Krishna sometimes shows extraordinary compassion and not let them succeed in their endeavor, and in this very life they come back to Krishna. This I am explaining in the context that mistakes committed inadvertently, mistakes committed because of some past conditioning is very well forgivable, and there are hopes given by our acharyas. But if somebody out of over familiarity, out of ego and arrogance, then their spiritual life is ruined. Now comes the third reflection and the last reflection for today's discussion. It is about Haridas Thakur's interaction with Advaitacharya. And Advaitacharya glorifying what Nityananda Prabhu is going to do and what he is capable of. Even though it is a sarcasm, like how Bilvamangala Thakura in his Chorashtakam, he was sarcastically trying to, present Krishna's views. I mean, Krishna's acts. The way gopis are sarcastically trying to, address Krishna, the heart of heart, they are only glorifying the Supreme Lord. Whilst Advaitacharya is telling in verse number 156 that because of this Nimai and Nitai, we will have to run away to save our caste. What is the hidden agenda here? What is the hidden point here? Jati dana vidya bala na kore apeksha. Just by holding on to somebody's panditya, just by holding on to somebody's beauty, somebody's knowledge, somebody's parentage, somebody's so-and-so external scenario, we are not going to be the recipient of Lord's mercy. Pratap Rudra did not get Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's attention till he gave up all the necessary external, attire also along with his internal consciousness. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to demonstrate the standard, and here Advaitacharya is actually glorifying them in the way of, it is, and of course he is using a very sarcastic language here. But this is exactly what he told was only going to happen, because Nityananda Prabhu had gone ahead and he is going to preach this drunkard boys, Jagai and Madai. And he was going to be beaten up. And not only beaten up, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going to attack them, he pleaded and recommended them to be given mercy. So that is why Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Ek baar dekh le chakshe jal, ek baar dekh le chakshe jal, Gaura bole nitai den sakala sambal, Dasturi lo ibo hami purna habe kam, Shraddha matra loe den paramananda. So he is explaining, Dasturi lo ibo hami purna habe kam. You just somehow or other come to this Namahata, come to this Nityananda, come to this holy place where Nityananda Prabhu has set up marketplace. What will happen? You come and you bring someone, Nityananda Prabhu will give you his commission. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is also giving some interesting, statement about Nityananda Prabhu. Just if you bring, you will get your due commission. Dasturi lo yibami purna habe kam. And what is the fees that you have to pay to come to this place? Shraddha matra loye den paramananda. The fees, the money that you have invested is Only Shraddha. And with that Shraddha, if you come to the marketplace and come and chant Gaura, 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 Hari, Gaura, 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 Hari, and a few drops of tears flows from the eyes of the person who chanted, Nityananda Prabhu becomes so mad, so drunkard, that he will give everything to that person. Boro Shuker Kaburgai, Boro Shuker Kaburgai. So the glories of this holy name, the glories of Vaishnavas who are part of this wonderful Sankirtan mission is unlimited. But especially we should hear the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan devotees. How much risks they take. Our dearest Gopal Krishna Maharaj, for preaching in Russia, he had risked his life. In those days, preaching in Russia means self-suicide. In case if you are caught to Russian police, then you are only, tortured. We have a devotee from Armenia who has written a book called Salted Bread. So he has shared his encounter in the jail when he was arrested by Russian police. He was tortured. So he somehow shown courage to practice Krishna consciousness. So the point I'm trying to say here is that whilst we glorified Vaishnavas, whilst we warned us how to see and recognize and associate with such a Vaishnava, we need to know the third aspect is how wonderful is this Sankirtan mission. It is a mass cleaning program. It is a wonderful arrangement that whoever, wherever, however situation one may be, but somehow or other, if they are part of the Sankirtan mission, if they somehow dance in the Kirtan, if they are just going to shake their legs for Hare Krishna Mahamantra by raising their arms, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, then we will definitely not only become purified, we will purify everyone who are, coming in our way, which means we will eventually acquire the quality of a touchstone. That's the power of, Chaitanya and Nityananda's association. Wherever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu traveled during South India Yatra, whomever he touched, he transformed. Nashta Kushtam, Rupa Pushtam, Bhakti Tushtam, Chakraya. Seventh chapter of, Madhya Leela, 7th chapter, verse number 1. Prabhupada writes that Nashta Kushtam, meaning a person who got the blessings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gets what? Nashta Kushtam, his disease is cured. Rupa Pushtam, he gets completely beautiful. And Bhakti Tushtam, pure devotional service is manifested in that person's heart. So it is important that we recognize self-realized soul. It is important that we handle that association with care. And it's all the more important in this association, carefully we participate in Sankirtan. The reason I'm saying is, without Krishna and without Sankirtan, associating with Vaishnava alone, which means I don't chant, I will not perform devotional activities, but I want to associate with the Vaishnava, so that is also not going to be a very interesting combination. And many times we see, even within ISKCON, we are very much fond of being in the assembly of Vaishnava, being in the limelight of Vaishnava association, but we are not interested in practicing or going through the purificatory process that they ask us or they want us to go through. So my point is that Guru Bhakti without Krishna Bhakti is condemned. Krishna Bhakti without Guru Bhakti is condemned. Krishna Bhakti and Guru Bhakti without Vaishnava's association is not possible. So hence our third reflection is to say that whilst I am getting the association of self-realized soul who are compassionate, who are competent, who are having high character, and who have fearlessness in presenting to Krishna, take that and make sure that we handle the association with care by not bringing in our prejudice, by not bringing in our arrogance, by making sure we are not overstepping on them or not becoming too familiar, and eventually perform the devotional service, perform the Yuga Dharma Harinama Sankirtana. By performing in such a capacity, we will naturally become a chosen soldier in the Sankirtan army that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will personally bestow his benediction upon such a soul. Anyone who is going to preach, anyone who is going to present Krishna consciousness subject matter to someone, he is so dear to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally bestow his benediction upon such a person. Just by Prataparudra calling Bhuvi Ganantiye Bhuri Dajana, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave a tight hug. What to speak of someone is going out as Nityananda Prabhu did, begging, pleading, going door to door. In our own limited capacity also, we should not look at any personal maryada, personal credit or personal, profiling. We just should take humble stands and go out there and present and chant and dance in the Sankirtan and spread this Yuga Dharma Harinama Sankirtana, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Even though the results might get delayed, even though the results may not be seen in your own life, we should be very confident. We should be very much sure that this process will work and nothing will go waste. I am saying this because nowadays our modern day education system wants instant relief, instant result, instant transformation. But in case of Krishna consciousness, it is always that a process needs dhairya. Utsaha, nischayat, dhairya. When explaining about dhairya, we're explaining about patience. We have to understand that when we are practicing Krishna consciousness, just because we got self-realized soul, just because we are careful in that association, just because we chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra and participated in Yuga Dharma, that does not, give us any assurance that the very next day or very immediately we will get a very high profile, positioning. Srila Prabhupada writes that our getting bhakti is Krishna's prerogative. If Krishna wants to bestow, he will only bestow. If Krishna decide that he will not want to give, how much ever we endeavor, will not give. And hence, the patience, the dhairya is recommended as one of the quality. And why we will be patient? Because we know for sure this process works. And number two, we know for sure that on my own, I will never be able to make progress because I'm an ignorant fool. We know for sure our senses are imperfect, so I will not be able to comprehend the entire science of Krishna consciousness as presented by Vaishnava Acharyas. But at least when I'm staying put in this process, I'm given an assurance in my own very lifetime, I can see a change in me, and that can be a motivating factor. So my dear Prabhus and Matajis, that this wonderful association of Nityananda Prabhu in our lives, through Nityananda Prabhu's followers in our lives, we will have hope. We will definitely be able to win ourselves and few more souls, whomever we are desiring to extend our, good fortune. They will also come into the lotus feet of Shri Nimaya Nitai. So before I conclude, there are three reflections that we discussed today. First reflection being the competency, compassion, and character of a Vaishnava to go out and preach and express himself to win another soul. And these 3C enables a natural fearlessness in a Vaishnava, Abhaya Charanaravindaré, which is a natural quality. And the second reflection that we discussed is about how one need to be learning to be very careful in their conduct, in their association with self-realized soul, to avoid familiarity and to make sure that there is no prejudice or you are not associating with wrong people to understand right person as wrong. And last but not least, we need to understand that with these two, first and second, one should actively engage in the preaching mission. Just running after Guru and not to glorify Krishna and not to chant Krishna's name, not to participate in Krishna's service is never the devotional service that Srila Prabhupada started. So we should have the spirit of performing act in Sankirtan mission by associating with self-realized souls and carefully handling that association. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Caitanya Bhagavat ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. If there are any questions or comments or reflections, we can take it up.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for the beautiful class. I don't have any questions, but very beautiful class, Prabhuji. I request your devotees, if anybody having any questions, realizations, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for such a nice class, and that too, in spite of so many stumbling blocks today. I hope you had your dinner. Prabhuji, thank you for the fantastic class, and I totally agree. And I was just thinking how true the statement is. That this process of Krishna consciousness is very, very subtle. You need dhairya, Nishaya dhairya, you said. And when we have that, we realize how effective the process is. So easily it is the best process. And I think everybody who's in Krishna consciousness by now must have realized it, how subtly it works. Though it may not be very gross, and like you were mentioning, you don't expect a result in the next day. But then once you start practicing it, slowly our consciousness is tuned so nicely that we are able to, have that patience and value the process. So relish and value the process. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Very, very sweet class. Very inspiring. Hare Krishna.
Actually, the point is that the very next day, the very next moment, transformation happens. Just that we don't get to see. It is like Chinese bamboo. It is the growth happens, transformation happens, cleanliness happens, but we don't get to see, and we just jump into conclusion that nothing has happened. I am one of the points that as a practicing devotee, if we learn to see everything that comes our way as Krishna's blessings, then we are at least better off. We'll not miss Krishna, because sometimes Krishna will come in the form of giving us some challenges. Sometimes Krishna will come in the form of giving us credits. Sometimes Krishna will come in the form of, so many different ways. Just that we need to, stay put. Gauranga Prabhu gave a wonderful story. One time, one girl was traveling in the flight, and the flight had a lot of turbulence. So much of turbulence. And everybody had, been freaking out, screaming out. And somehow, with all struggle, the flight landed. But this girl sitting by the window, she was absolutely, undisturbed, and she was enjoying her, flight. So while the flight landed, and everybody went to the girl and said that, hey, what made you to remain, so calm whilst we were all freaking out? She said, the child said that the pilot is my father. There is no way my father will let me get into suffering. So the more I am thinking, the more it is so obvious, but we are so stupid that we keep, lamenting, fearing. There is something that we are supposed to be fearing. There is something that we are not supposed to be fearing. So at least one thing that as a, practicing devotees, we should learn to see Krishna's hand in every situation. Then probably we have a hope. Otherwise, we will blame Krishna and Krishna will get upset. My God, I was trying to help this guy and this guy is really, messing it up. Anyway, thank you for your kind words.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the beautiful answer.
Any other thoughts?
Hare
Yeah,
Krishna
Vrinda Gopika
Prabhuji.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. All realization is touched to heart and somehow I am able to rememorize Prabhuji. Prabhuji, before 2 days, with your permission, I want to share one Sunday program our that is Sri Jagannath Chappan Boga Prabhuji, and it's a teamwork. So Prabhuji, somehow before that leg is not working. Now the right hand is not working. So it's very challenging. And I decide that somehow I make 5-6 type of parothas and so many items. But Prabhuji somehow able to prepare some prasadam and all the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev and Sri Jagannath. I don't have any qualification, Prabhuji. And I also decide that I will give so many Tulsi Maharani to all Vaishnava, and Prabhuji, not less than 257 Tulsi Maharani came by the mercy of Bhakti Devi Tulsi Maharani, and they become this much big. So all mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev and Bhakti Devi Srimati Sri Tulsi Maharani, we are qualified to do seva. हमारे अंदर तो कोई qualification नहीं है कि हम सेवा कर पाए, पर राधा रानी की मर्जी से, भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की मर्जी से सेवा कर पाते हैं. और सेकंड थिंग, प्रभु जी, एक्चुअली अमेंद्र प्रभु जी का कल लेक्चर सुना तो बता रहे थे कि जब हम लेक्चर सुनते हैं तो ऐसे सुनना चाहिए कि अगर वो that preacher is in preacher's heart, Srila Prabhupada is sitting, Srimati Shri Radharani and Srila Gurudev is sitting, Srimati Radharani and Sita Rani is sitting. So we have to think like that. And अगर वो जब प्रभुपाद वाणी बोल रहे हैं तो हम ऐसे ऐसे लिखते, ध्यान से लिखते, so that we will apply in our day to day life. तो जी अमिंद्र प्रभु बता रहे थे कि ऐसे ही हमें सुनना है हर प्रीचर की वाणी, तो इसकी इफेक्ट डायरेक्टली जपा पे आती है प्रभु जी. एंड इट्स टू व्हेन वी डू अवर जपा मॉर्निंग में, तो प्रभु जी इतनी क्वालिफाइड नहीं हूँ, बट एटलीस्ट वी हैव टू स्टार्ट 5 o'clock. I have seen Adi Prabhu, Ajay Amindra Prabhu and his father, they sit right 5 o'clock. 12 घंटे डॉक्टर की जॉब करने के बाद प्रभु जी, इट्स वेरी चैलेंजिंग. और इतना ही नहीं, 6:30 को वो जपा करने के बाद 6:30 to 7 श्री भागवतम और श्री चैतन्य चरणामृत सुनाते. तो उसकी वजह से पूरा दिन जो वाइब्रेशन आता है प्रभु जी, जो एक बाजू श्री भागवतम चल रहा है और दूसरी बात जो न्यूज चल रहा है, वी कैन नॉट से एनीथिंग टू एनीबॉडी प्रभु जी, पर इतना अच्छा, मतलब वो खुद ही अपने आप उनका वॉइस कम कर देते हैं. तो दिस इज द प्रभुपाद मर्सी. सो प्रभु जी, ऑल ऑफ द स्टोरी प्लीज प्ले फॉर अस दैट आफ्टर 5 years going Vrindavan, maybe by the mercy of Bhakti Devi Tulsi Maharani, we enter in Vrindavan Dham this year, Mahapur Dham and Jagannath Puri Dham. Please pray for all Bhakti Sangha Mata. Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. We remember all your realization here again and write down, Prabhuji. Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. All goes to your enthusiasm and wonderful love for Krishna. Very nice.
Thank you, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, for sharing your realization. Is there anybody you would like to share their realizations or any questions? Please go ahead.
Okay.
Prabhuji, after realization, please sing small bhajan, 2 lines is also enough. Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam.
Okay.
Prabhuji, we can go with the bhajan maybe.
Yes, fine, I'll do that. I'm just thinking what bhajan to sing. Instead of a bhajan, I would like to chant a very interesting prayer of Bilva Mangala Thakura called Bala Mukunda Ashtakam. It's a fantastic, set of prayers glorifying the Lord's transcendental, childhood pastime. I will copy them. I will give the link of them so that you all can follow. The reason this is something very wonderful. Okay, so as usual, I will read the meaning first before we chant this. I meditate on that infant Mukunda Krishna who is sleeping on the leaf of a banyan tree with the lotus-like food placed in his lotus-like mouth with his lotus-like hand. I meditate on that infant Mukunda who is sleeping, holding all the worlds together on the leaf of a banyan tree in such form which has no beginning or no end. He is the incarnation of God for the welfare of all mankind and the Lord of all. I meditate on Bala Mukunda in my heart, who has a delicate body like a blue lotus, and whose foot is worshipped by all the gods and Indra, etc. He is the wish-fulfilling tree for those who take refuge in him. I meditate on that Bala Mukunda in my heart, who has hanging curls and hanging necklace, a beautiful row of teeth which are shown playfully. His lower lip is as red as the bimba fruit and has beautiful wide eyes. I meditate on that Bala Mukunda in my heart, who pretended as if he was sleeping, having eaten the yogurt to his contentment from the hanging pots to the gopis when they had gone out. I meditate on Bala Mukunda, whose beautiful face resembles the autumnal moon and is dancing happily on the hood of the serpent Kalia, holding its tail with his hand in the Kalinda pond. I meditate on Bala Mukunda with beautiful eyes like the petals of a full-bloomed lotus, and who with great valor broke the pair of tall Yamala Arjuna trees, even though he was tied to a mortar, a large heavy stone bowl for pounding rain. I meditate on Bala Mukunda, God filled with Sat and Chit, that is infinite consciousness of infinite divine form, the lotus-eyed one who cast his looks at his mother's face with affection while drinking milk from her breast. Kararavindena padaravindam mukaravinde viniveshayantam vatasya patrasya puteshayanam balam mukundam manasa smarami samrutya lokan vatapatra madhye शयानमाद्यन्त विहीनरूपम् सर्वेश्वरं सर्वहितावतारं बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि इन्दीवरश्यामलकोमलाङ्गम् इन्द्रादिदेवार्चितपादपद्मम् संतानकल्पद्रुममाश्रितानां बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि लम्बालकं लम्बितहार यष्टिं शृङ्गारलीलाङ्कितदण्डपङ्क्तिं बिम्बाधरं चारु विशालनेत्रं बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि शीके निदायापि पयोदधीनि बहिगताय व्रजनाकियायां भुक्त्वा यतातेष्टं कपटेन सुप्तं बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि कालीयस्य गृहरन् ज्ञानेतान प्रियन्तं तत्पुरुष चाहतं शरदिन्दुवक्त्रं बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि उलूकले बद्ध मुधार शौर्यं उत्तुंगया उत्तुंग युग्मार्जुन भंगलीलम उत्फुल्ललब्धा मयात चारु नेत्रम बालम मुकुंदम मनसा स्मरामि आलोक्यमात् मुखमादरेण स्तन्यं पिबन्तं सरसीरुहाक्षं सच्चिन्मयं देवमनन्तरूपं बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय।
Thank you, Prabhu. Very beautiful.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for reading the meaning and singing such a beautiful bhajan. Thank you so much. If there are no more questions or realizations, we can end the call for today. I would like to offer my obeisances to Prabhuji and all the Vaishnavas assembled on the call. Vancha kalpatarobhyasya kripa sindhu bhyo patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnav vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please praise Ramgiridhari Prabhuji ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Koti koti dandavat pranam. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavats.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Jai Shri Prabhupada. Thank you, devotees. Thank you, Prabhuji, again.